Good evening. So, today I'm going to talk about my sensory bins. I'll try and post one of these every month so I can show you what we've been doing because I put together a new sensory bin every month. So, this month's for January. It's probably one of my least inspired ones. We were so busy with Christmas and stuff that I didn't have time to be really creative. I just kind of threw them together. So we've got different kinds of pasta in here. We had a bunch of leftover pasta from some other projects that we were doing. And so I threw it all together in a bin, along with some of the plastic letters that came out of one of my son's toys. So there's every letter of the alphabet in here except Q. I don't know why the toy didn't come with Q, but anyway, there's a couple A's and a couple B's, but no Q. Who knows, right? So the kids just like to dig around in here and empty it out all over the floor, naturally. They like to separate the letters into same color piles, and they like to pick up the pasta and try and separate it out. Or sometimes they just like to dig around in here. I personally really like the way that the pasta sounds when you drop it in. At the beginning, it was not just a sensory bin for hands and ears, but also for taste buds. But I quickly put a stop to that since sometimes I pick the pasta up off the floor and put it back in there and, well, So I always have, along with the sensory bin, accessories to go with it, and these change and vary depending. So I've got a couple egg cartons, and the kids can divide up the pasta or just fill them up however they see fit. Those don't usually last too long because they always get smushed somehow. Somebody decides they feel cool to walk on or something. I have this fruit tray that has all these different compartments in it from my son's birthday, and so I decided to save it. I actually want to put it to a different purpose eventually here, but it ended up in the sensory bin tools as well. I have in here also a drop cloth, which I try and lay down underneath so that it's easier to clean up afterwards, since most of the pasta ends up on the drop cloth. Messy Play sensory bins always have a drop cloth. And then I've also got in here my Magic Bullet cups. Ended up getting recruited, and I think the kids like these, and they like to fill these because you can see through them, and so that's kind of neat for them, as opposed to just having a cup that you can't see through. So there's a couple of those in there. And then I got some ladles from the dollar store that they use to scoop up a bunch of old measuring cups that I don't use anymore. There's a few of them in there, as well as my old set of measuring spoons that I've since replaced. So those are in there as well. Measuring cup, measuring spoons. So yeah, those are all in there. And I point out the fractions on them, and maybe it sinks in, maybe it doesn't, who knows. Another spoon, once again, got it at the dollar store. I need to actually buy a couple more spoons because I fight over them. Shovel for smaller hands. They're easier to use than the ones with the long handle. And then I've got a pair of cooking tongs in here for them to pick stuff up with, and then once again a pair of smaller ones. These ones are easier to pick stuff up with. And then we have a whole kitchen set upstairs, and a lot of times the pots and pans and stuff make it in here. So here's one of the pots and pans, or one of the pans I should say, from one of our IKEA baking sets. I think the kids like these ones because they're metal and they make a different sound. So there's that. really enjoy using. And then a couple lids in here from something else. You never know what's going to end up in here. The Nerf from one of my son's guns. I've also got some chopsticks in here. Doesn't really apply much to this sensory bin specifically, because I don't think you can actually get any of the pasta onto the chopsticks. Let's see. Yeah, no. Not really. But some of the sensory bins you can pick stuff up with the chopsticks. And then these also serve as a multicultural type prop item, because I have to have that in my day home. I have to recognize other cultures, and so utensils from a different culture. So though that is my sensory bin and my sense bin tools, I've been needing to update my tools. I need to make a trip to IKEA to update my tools, I think, because they've got some really cool funnels and stuff there. So I redo the sensory bin every week, or every month I should say, and I try and stick to a theme. So next month we will do Valentine's Day, and that should be fun. So yeah, sensory bin, messy fun, but still fun.